Kechries or Kechrais is a village in the municipality of Corinth in Carinthia in Greece. It is part of the community of Kechries. It is located about 7 kilometers southeast of Corinth and 7 kilometers southeast of the Epidavros interchange with GR8A, E94, north of Galataki and Kato Almyrai, east of Examilia, southeast of Kechries, south of Kiris Vrisi and west-southwest of modern Izmir. Geography. Kechries is a village with a school and a church but no centralized plan or platea. The number of permanent residents of Kechries is small, and many houses there are used seasonally by owners who reside elsewhere. The Ionia Mountains lie to the south where a major stone quarry is located, and the village is surrounded by fertile land dedicated to the cultivation of olive, the vine, and fruit trees. A broad bay at the western end of the Saronic, called Catchphrase Bay, is located immediately east of the village. This coastline forms the easternmost point of the Corinth Fault. The area has frequently felt the impact of seismic activity, which has led to the moderate subsidence of the coastline since ancient times. History. In ancient times, Kechries was one of the two ports of the inland city-state of Corinth. While Kechries served the eastern trade routes via the Saronic Gulf, Lechion on the Corinthian Gulf served the trade routes leading west to Italy and the rest of Europe. Situated on the eastern side of the Isthmus of Corinth, Kechries sat at a natural crossroads for ships arriving from the east and overland traffic heading north and south between central Greece and the Peloponnese. The origin of Kechries is unknown, but it must have been inhabited from early times, probably in prehistory, on account of the deep natural harbor that was favorable for landing ships. The area is endowed with abundant water sources, a massive bedrock of oolitic limestone, that excellent building stone, and several defensible positions with good viewpoints. The name of the site seems to derive from the ancient Greek word for millet, and the area's capacity for agricultural production is still evident. The earliest textual sources for Kechries, an epitaph of the late Archaic period and references in historical and geographical writings of the Classical to Hellenistic eras, reveal that there was a permanent settlement and a fortified naval station. Few archaeological remains survive from this early settlement, but it seems to have been located westward from the modern coast, along the prominent ridge that borders the modern village to the north. Kechries flourished during the Roman Empire, when the settlement was focused around the crescent-shaped harbor enclosed by massive concrete breakwaters and protected by sea walls. The local community was small but prosperous, and it was distinguished by its social, cultural, and religious diversity. Ancient literature and inscriptions from the site attest to the presence of cults of Aphrodite, Isis, Asclepios, Poseidon, Dionysos, and Pan. Christianity also arrived at Kechries early in the religion's history. According to Acts chapter 18 verse 18, the Apostle Paul stopped at Kechries during his second missionary journey, where he had his hair cut to fulfill a vow, probably a Nazirite vow. Paul mentions the place and a deacon named Phoebe in the local assembly in his epistle to the Romans. A later ecclesiastical tradition recorded the existence of a bishop at Kechries, but the veracity of these accounts is hard to establish. The ancient harbor was partly excavated in 1962 to 1969 by a team sponsored by the American School of Classical Studies under the general direction of Professor Robert Scranton. Excavations have uncovered several buildings that attest to the commercial vitality of the port throughout the Roman Empire and into the 7th century, when maritime activity and local habitation apparently diminished. The most impressive buildings located at the north and south ends of the harbor include blocks of rooms near the waterfront, fish tanks, monumental complexes decorated with sculpted marble, mosaic pavements, and wall painting, and a small Christian basilica. Most important among the many discoveries was over 100 panels in glass opus sectile found in their original packing crates and awaiting installation in a possible sanctuary of Isis, whose great annual festival is the scene of the climax of Apuleius' novel Metamorphosis, which tells the story of a man turned into a donkey and back again. The Chicago team has published 6 volumes since 1975 about the architecture, glass panels, pottery, coins, lamps and furniture pieces from the excavations. Studies of glass, terracotta figurines, and small finds are in progress. Material from the excavations is stored in the Izmir Archaeological Museum, where some of it is on display. Since 2002, survey and excavation jointly sponsored by the American School and the Greek Ministry of Culture has explored the area immediately north of the harbor on the low coastal ridge called Kautsongila. These new investigations have concentrated on a vast cemetery of early Roman chamber tombs and Roman to early Byzantine cis graves, an opulent residential quarter facing seaward, and other large structures overlooking the harbor. The bountiful artifacts and structures found both at the harbor and on Kautsongila reveal the considerable wealth of local residents, including several objects of exceptional artistic quality, and a connection to points of production and exchange to the east in the Aegean Islands, Asia Minor, and the Near East. Historical and geographical texts of the Byzantine and post-Byzantine eras indicate that Kechries was still used by travelers and imperial expeditions, while the ancient harbor could still receive ship traffic after antiquity. The archaeological evidence for medieval occupation is thin, and any permanent settlement must have been smaller than in ancient times. A small harbor facility operated during early modern times, mostly serving to export local produce, including grains, citrus fruit, and tomatoes. Adjacent villages Lautra Elenis, Zyla Keriza, Examilia, Kiros Vrizi, Kalamaki. Demographics.